श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। I will be chanting the whole of the Ishavasyopanishad because it's a small Upanishad and I like chanting this special Upanishad. Om Ishavasyamitag sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita माकृधः कस्य स्विद्धनं कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छतः समाः। एवं त्वयि नान्यथेतोऽस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे असुर्यानामते लोका अन्धेन तमसावृताः तागस्ते प्रेत्याभिगच्छन्ति ये के चात्मनो जनाः। अनेजदेकं मनसो जवीयो नैनद्देवा आप्नुवन् पूर्वमर्षत् तद्धावतोऽन्यानत्येति तिष्ठत्तस्मिन् नपो मातरिष्वा दधाति तदेजति तन्नैजति तद्दूरे तद्वन्तिके तदन्तरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः यस्तु सर्वाणि भूतान्यात्मन्येवानुपश्यति सर्वभूतेषु चात्मानं ततो विजुगुप्स्यते। यस्मिन् सर्वाणि भूतान्यात्मैवा भूद्विजानतः तत्र को मोहः कशोक एकत्वमनुपश्यतः सपर्यगाच्छुक्रमकायमव्रणमस्नाविरग् शुद्धमपापविद्धम् कविर्मनीषी परिभूस्वयंभूर्याथातत्यतोऽर्थान् व्यदधाच्छाश्वतीभ्यः समाभ्यः। अन्धं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये विद्यामुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो यवुविद्यायाग्रताः अन्यदेवाहुर्विद्ययान्यदाहुरविद्यया इति शुश्रुमधीराणायेनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे विद्याञ्च यस्तद्वेदो भयग्ः सः अविद्यया मृत्युं तीर्त्वा विद्ययामृतमश्नुते अंधं तमः प्रविशन्ति ये सम्भूतिमुपासते ततो भूय इव ते तमो य सम्भूत्याग्रताः अन्यदेवाहुः सम्भवादन्यदाहुरसम्भवात् इति शुश्रुमधीराणाय्येनस्तद्विचचक्षिरे सम्भूतिं च विनाशं च यस्तद्वेदो भयग् सः विनाशेन मृत्युं तीर्त्वा सम्भूत्यामृतमश्नुते हिरण्मयेन पात्रेण सत्यस्यापि हितं मुखम् तत्त्वं पूषन्नपावृणु सत्यधर्माय दृष्टये पूषन्नेकर्षे यमसूर्य प्राजापत्य व्यूहरश्मीन् समूहतेजो यत्ते रूपं कल्याणतमं तत्ते पश्यामि योऽसावसौ सुपुरुषः सोऽहमस्मि वायुरनिलममृतमथेदं भस्मान् तग्गं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतज्ञ स्मर क्रतो स्मर कृतज्ञ स्मर अग्नेन यसुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानि देववयुनानि विद्वान् युयोध्यस्मज्जुहुराणमेनो भूयिष्ठां ते नमवुक्तिं विधेम ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Welcome back to the study of the Isha Upanishad, or it's called as Ishavasyopanishad as well. We have seen in the introduction to the Upanishad that this Upanishad is one of the smallest of the Upanishads, but contains the highest of the truths. This Upanishad gives us, especially in the first two verses, a complete philosophy of life, a perfect philosophy which, if we try to adapt in our day-to-day life, becomes very, the nature of the world becomes very clear, and the goal of life also becomes very clear. Both of this, the life that we live as well as the goal that one has to achieve. Ultimately, all our efforts in this world is to inch towards perfection. We all are going. Swami Vivekananda's very famous saying that every being is traveling from truth to truth. From truth that is lower, that is apparent truth that we are very familiar, to truth that is higher. Ultimately, everything is filled with truth. Satyasyapi hitam mukham. So that is what the Upanishad says. The truth, the face of the divine is covered with truth. But unfortunately, we do not see that face because of ignorance, our own ignorance, avidya, mula avidya, hidden ignorance. So, the um, the opening words of the Upanishad. It tells us something that we tend or we forget in our life. But to remember this is very essential for us. In the beginning, the Upanishad very beautifully says that there is some invisible content that is pervading all things. Vasyam. Vasyam means, vas means to clothe or to cover, to inhabit, or to envelop or to pervade. So many meanings are given for this word, Vasyam. So the Rishi of this Upanishad, he says, Idam Sarvam, all this. I am familiar with this table, I am familiar with this microphone over here, I am familiar with all of this. Idam Sarvam, what the Upanishad says is extraordinary. Everything needs to be enveloped. That is to say, we need to make sure that we recognize the presence of the divine in anything that we deal with. There is a beautiful incident in the life of Holy Mother Sharda Devi. Sharda Devi had a few nieces who were living with them, who had been widowed, and they were living with her. And they used to look after the household duties. So, one day, one of them, Nalini, she was sweeping the floor of the house. It was all mud huts, you see, in the village, Jairambati, mud huts. So, lot of dust accumulates because it has been smeared with the cow dung. It's antiseptic. So, and it also keeps the house cool during summer and warm during winter. Now, she was sweeping the courtyard, and then she was sweeping the room, the courtyard and all of that. After she swept, she took the broom and threw it into the corner, just chucked it over there as it were. Mother saw that and she called her, "Look here, my dear, what you did now is very disrespectful. This broom keeps the household very clean. And the way you threw it with disregard, without respecting its existence, is not acceptable. You need to put the broom in the proper place with great respect and in the proper angle that you need to keep, so that the bristles are all not wasted or the bristles are not spoiled. So you need to keep it very, because again tomorrow you will need the broom. If you just throw it like that and disregard it, then you are disrespecting the broom. So by this we can see that Mother is telling telling us all that indeed whatever exists has to be respected. Why should we respect? If we can bring in the concept of the divine present in all of things, then we will be able to respect. Otherwise we will not be able to respect it. Therefore, you cover everything with the divine. That is what this word says. Vasyam idam yat kincha. That means anything. Whatever is there, idam sarvam. All this that we perceive through the senses, sense organs, the mind or intellect. See, in childhood we were taught that if you are reading a book or any book or pencil or anything, do not step on that. So as children we used to question, why should we not step on it? He said, because, of course, traditionally they will say, Mother Saraswati resides in the pen, she resides in the book. See, there was a concept that everything is filled with Brahman. Through our household anecdotes, we learn this. So, Ishavasyopanishad sarmi, anything that you have, I remember still very clearly when I first went to join in the Ramakrishna order. I was washing a very senior monk's clothes and then putting it to dry on the line, and somehow my foot, unconsciously, it touched the cloth. It was a gerua cloth, that is the monk's cloth, the orange cloth. The Swami observed it and he called me and said, look here, this is a cloth that I will be wearing, and it is orange in color, or gerua, or ochre in color. Now, it is a very sacred thing. This cloth is a very sacred thing. So do not disregard it. Feel that there is divine in it. That was this, I remember after so long, today only I was reminded of this. He said, do not ever touch your feet to any cloth for that matter. More so the ochre cloth, because it is indicative of renunciation, the fire of renunciation. So do not touch it. So since then I would not never do that. Even if I have to dispose it off, I will just burn it in the backyard over here and not disregard it. So otherwise we use it for cleaning purposes and then keep it in a proper place or dispose it off in a proper manner. So I gave this just as an example that how we should treat anything and everything with great respect. Not just kicking things around and not disregarding the existence of that thing, because it is useful to us. Even though it may be for a short while, yet it is very significant in our lives. So connect everything with everything else. Ishavasyam. Who connects it? Isha. That means with the divine. That is, bring about a relationship to all the diversity, whether it be organic or inorganic, living or non-living. So there is a mysterious link that brings everything together into a perfect formation. There is a mysterious link which we do not realize, but as we grow spiritually, we will realize that there is a mysterious link which brings everything together. Astamba pariyantam, that means from the blade of the grass to the highest heaven, there is a connection to everything. Swami Vivekananda had a wonderful vision. When he was walking in the Himalayas, he was near to a place called Almora. And there he was very exhausted, he was tired. And then he had Swami Turiyananda, I believe, along with him. And he was totally exhausted. In fact, for 2 days they had no food to eat, walking by foot on the Himalayas. And then, anyway, they found shelter under a tree, and the offspring of the tree is still there. So he sat under the tree, almost fell unconscious, and then after he woke up with great enthusiasm or with great realization, he told his brother monk, "Look here, brother, today I had a wonderful vision. What is it? That the macrocosm and the microcosm are all built on the same platform. The macro, the universe, the cosmos, as well as the microcosm. This body itself is a microcosm, is a cosmic being, as it were, just as the external world has got a cosmos. So this itself is a cosmic being. Here within ourselves there is this. So there is a big connection between the microcosm as well as the macrocosm. Both of these are there. So when we perceive this whole universe as a big organization, we will see that there is no chaos. We think there is a chaos everywhere, but there is no chaos. Everything has got a place. Everything has got a need in this universe. See? The difference between one object and the other is in the degree of manifestation. In the stone, the manifestation is small or low, and in a human being, it is more, and in a realized soul, it is greater. So it is a difference in degree, but not of the kind. That means the divine is present in the rock. That is why when people ask us, the Hindus, the question, why do you worship rocks? Said, because there is divine also in the rock. He is there in the rock, he is there in the tree, and he is there in the individual as well. So the difference between these one thing and the other is in the degree of manifestation. See, this has to be understood. The difference, for example, I will just give another example. The prick of a doctor's needle, it gives us some pain, no doubt. But if somebody brings a knife and cuts your hand, then the pain is greater. But both are called the pain, isn't it? The prick is also called the pain, and the cut is also called as a pain. So all of these are difference in degree of manifestation, but not difference in kind. So they are all related. The prick is also related to the cut, in that it is a pain associated. So creation is nothing but painting on a large canvas. Every stroke, if you ask an artist, he will say that every stroke of his brush, it has got a meaning and it has got a utility. So especially in modern art, you will see that some pictures or some paintings do not make any sense to the ordinary person, but it carries a great meaning to the artist and also an art expert. See, he knows that by this stroke he means this, by that stroke he means that, by this paint he means this, and by that he means that. So everything has got a relationship. Another example that can be given is that the parts of the body that we all have. See, the teeth, the tongue has its uniqueness. The feet, the legs, and the toes, the hands, the fingers, all of them have got uniqueness, but they all have got specific use. There is no doubt about that. But overall, they are guided by one principle, that is life. There is life in everything, even in the smallest of our um, nails, there is life in it. So this principle is there. So when there is symmetry in the parts, we call it as beauty. When there is dissymmetry, we call it as not so beautiful. Somebody gave a beautiful explanation or a definition of beauty. He says, beauty is an arrangement, it is an arrangement, it is a pattern, it is an adjustment and proportionate recognition of the values and bringing these values into a completion. I'll repeat it, it's a bit difficult to say without reading it. Beauty is an arrangement, a pattern, adjustment and proportionate recognition of values, bringing these values into a completion. Just look at the most beautiful person, a human being. So there is everything is so proportionate in that person. The eyes, the nose, the ears, the lips, and everything has got a proportion. And then when you put them all together, then it is called as a beauty. See, the different limbs of that person, it looks beautiful because they cooperate with the wholeness of that personality. So, an organism that we call this body have to have different proportions, and those proportions must be right or correct. Then only it is called as the body. But if due to a stroke, if my limb hangs unconnectedly with the body, with the whole system, then the beauty vanishes, isn't it? See how it is. Everything is connected to each other. So this connectedness is what the Rishi is talking about here. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. So life carries any meaning when there is a participation that is expected of any individual, any person, or participation of persons in an organization, in a society. It carries meaning only when there is participation by each of them. So in every project, in every undertaking of ours, we need to have this sense of participation, this sense of adventure, this sense of hard labor or activity for continuation or survival of that the persons or the person that is involved in it. See, in a family you see this, where there is perfect participation of all the members of the family, there is harmony in that family. Where somebody goes away, becomes antisocial or does not want to participate in it, there is always a chaos or there is always a kind of disharmony in that family. So, and it is said that an antisocial person can never be happy. An antisocial person can never be happy. An unsocial person will be suffering internally. Tamasic people we see, we say, oh, that fellow doesn't do anything and he is whiling his time and he is not, but again he is joyfully there. No, it is not so. That person, when he is not participating, internally there is some displeasure. Internally there is something lacking in that person. But somehow he does not want to go and do anything because of some selfish interest. If his selfish interest is served, then he will be participating in everything. If his selfish interest is not served, he will not participate in anything. So our limbs must also function or participate in the the functions of the body, as I said, then we feel very happy. Whether we are working somewhere, when we are working somewhere, for example in the ashram sometimes, we see this every now and then. I get this complaint from some people. I was doing my work and somebody came and took away my work, my responsibility, and they feel very unhappy over it. Because there is that sense that I am doing it and I like doing it, I want to contribute. And if somebody else comes and takes it over from that person, one feels unhappy. Of course, a mature person is one who will let go of those things, will not bother. It's all right. Ultimately, it is being done for the organization. It's meant for everyone. So whether I do it or somebody else does it, it doesn't matter to me. I will look for something else. I will contribute in some other way. That is the mature feeling. But then a person, normally we are those with a lot of ego. We feel that our importance has been removed or has been taken away by somebody else. So, human society is an organism, just like the body is. It's like a big organism, which is much larger than the individual, which requires participation, definitely. And where a society is participating, there is peace, there is happiness, there is fulfillment also. So we take the example of the elements of the universe. See, the solar system and the planets and all of them, they are all functioning in harmony with each other. And where there is disharmony, then there is a lot of chaos in the universe. All the floods and the earthquakes and all of that, it is caused because of this disharmony between different forces of nature. So, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. This is a ruling principle that pervades the cosmos. And he says here, Isha. Isha means one who is the controller, one who is the regulator, one who is the boss, one who, the other meaning is one who restrains. Make sure that you are not misled. One who determines also. Sometimes we need somebody to make decisions. And one who harmonizes, brings everybody together. This harmonizing and part satisfying principle is known as Isha. Isha, the term Isha also means life-giving. It gives life to everything. Merely to exist is joy. The joy of living is not the sensory happiness that is normally associated with it. But when our senses do not function, when we get sick, for example, and some of our bodily functions become affected, then we feel unhappy. But then we feel very joyful when everything is working in harmony. Almost a new kind of energy enters into us when we know that everything is working properly. So this, again, to go back to that same theme, this joy that we feel within ourselves, it does not come from the sensory happiness. It arises from the totality of experience that we experience. We wrongly think that we can only be happy when we possess the material objects. We wrongly think, it is a wrong understanding. But joy only comes when we feel that we are the whole, that we are in everything. Na alpe sukham asti bhumaeva tat sukham, says the Upanishad. That there is no real happiness in the little, only in the greater, in the bhuma, that means that which pervades everywhere. There only there is joy. See? Mere participation, I earlier spoke about participation. Let us just examine that a little more. A mere participation itself does not give joy. For example, there is an inert matter, a stone or a piece of wood. It is there, it is participating, but it does not experience any joy, or it does not express any joy. So, but that mere participation means it is tamasic, it is there. But when rajas and sattva, they combine with the stationary, then there is life. So rajas and sattva, rajas and tamas, all these three things are inherent in us. Only we experience joy only when all of these combine and when all of these harmonize, then only we feel that. So the reality that we experience is not manifest in existence, such as in a rock or stone or things, but some part of the reality is present there also. But in us, in human beings, it is much more manifest. It is manifest through intellect and through rationality, which is the function of rajas within us. And then there is what is called as sattva. Sattva, which is manifest as ananda or joy, which is the aspect of reality, is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat, Chit and Ananda. We all exist. Okay? We have to know that we exist, isn't it? That is Chit. We have to know that we exist. And then we have to be happy knowing that we exist. That is called as the Ananda. So Sat, Chit and Ananda is present in every act of ours, in every thought of ours. So such a thing called the Satchidananda, it pervades the whole universe. That's what he says by Ishavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Whether living or non-living, whether the known or the unknown, whether it is visible or invisible, whether it is potential or whether it is already manifest, whatever be the nature of existence, all are linked by this principle called the Isha, which is unknown to us as of today. I do not know God as of today. But once I realize the existence of the divine, or behind every action of mine, behind every thought of mine, behind every experience of mine, then I will feel that joy that knows no bounds at all. So this principle called Isha, we can ascribe it to God or Ishvara, the Supreme Being, the Absolute Being, or the Universal Being, or the Atman who is residing within ourselves. So the Upanishad says here, Yatkincha jagattena tyaktena punjita. Says, be happy knowing this. Just by knowing this truth, one can be happy. And the question is asked, how can I be happy? Or by merely knowing this principle or this truth, that Ishavasyam, everything is filled with God. See, in our normal experience, I feel happy when I enjoy through my five senses. When I see something that is beautiful, I feel happy. When I hear something that is very pleasant, I feel happy. When I taste something that is very tasty, then I feel happy. When I experience something that is very soft by touch, I feel very happy. So, the five senses are the avenues by which I experience happiness. So, how do you say, the disciple asks the teacher, how do you say that just by knowing that the divine exists everywhere, you will become happy? No. So the Upanishad, as it were, it says that yes, what you say is perfectly all right. But keep this in mind all the time. You do not think that the world will give you everlasting happiness. It is not going to give you everlasting happiness because everything is temporary. It is there for this moment, no doubt, but it is not going to be there tomorrow. The money today that you have will not stay for long. Recently, India demonetized the money. See, many people had millions of cash in their hands, and then it was all demonetized. Then people became very upset over the whole thing. All that time they were hoarding the money. They thought they are very happy. But as soon as the demonetization came, some people even committed suicide, I hear. So, money does not make you happy at all. Money does not give you real happiness. Property cannot make you happy. See what happened during before the Second World War. All the Jews who had so much of wealth, their wealth was all taken away, and they were not spared of their life also. So, is there any joy or happiness in just accumulating wealth? No. Possessions that you are aware of, that is consciously, that is knowing its positive and negative aspects, that only can make you happy. See, that which is very positively with you, that only can make you happy. Somebody gave an example. Suppose some distant relative has left a large bequeathment in your name and you are not aware of it. See, you are the owner of a large property, lot of assets and all of that. You are not aware of it. But the moment you come to know that you own it, then you feel very happy. And then when you start using it, after you exhaust it, because you have not earned it, so you don't know the value of it. So you just keep on spending it, and then you lose it. Recently it happened. A man once somewhere in Bihar in India, he won a big lottery and he got a lot of money, millions of rupees. And within a few months, and he used to, work somewhere or do some begging also. And then he got this money, and then all the sharks, they came and they took away. And within a year or so, all that money was gone, and he was back in the streets begging. Somebody asked, what happened to all of the money? Well, it was all taken away by people. Somebody said, we will multiply your money, give your money, it is all gone. So, it all happens in this world. Nothing becomes yours, nothing is ultimately yours. So, the unconscious possessions are no possessions at all. It is as if you do not have anything at all. So, he says here, Ma gridah kasyas vidhanam, in the second line of the verse, he says, Tenat ma gridah kasyas vidhanam. Ma gridah means do not covet, Do not try to think that something belongs to you. Because ultimately he says, Kasyasvid, Dhanam Kasyasvid. Dhanam means wealth. Kasyasvid. Whose? Whose indeed is the wealth? Whose indeed is the wealth? It does not belong to you. I'll tell you a story in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was at that time living with his friends in Chicago, I think. Chicago, yeah. Chicago or New York, I'm not very, very sure. I need to check it. So, the friend, one of the friend of his host was John D. Rockefeller, the famous tycoon who had built railroads and then lot of mining and logging and all of that. So he had accumulated a lot of money, but yet he was unhappy in his own mind. So this person, his friend, at whose house Swami Vivekananda was staying, said, "Look, I have got an interesting monk staying with me. Come and meet him." So he came to meet Swami Vivekananda, and Swami Vivekananda was in his study. He was reading some book, and Rockefeller came from. Swami Vivekananda did not even show the courtesy of getting up or greeting him, because he knew he needed some other medicine. So he just kept on poring over his books. And then Rockefeller came and stood near his desk. And Swami Vivekananda immediately started telling Rockefeller about the cause of his unhappiness, why he is unhappy, and what he had, all the things that generally one would not know. But Swamiji was able to read anybody's mind for that matter. So he went on talking to him, or he went on narrating to him, without even looking at his face. He went on talking about it. So, and he said to Rockefeller, "Look here, know that you are only a trustee. You are only a channel to the wealth that you have accumulated. You need to share it with others if you want to have any real happiness." Rockefeller was, first of all, he was incensed by Swami Vivekananda's disregard for him, and then he went away. In great rage he went away. But see, to his credit, he came back within a few days. Swamiji was in the same position. He brought a blueprint for his foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, threw it on Swami Vivekananda's desk and said, "Here, take this and thank me for doing this." I mean, for creating this foundation. Swamiji did not look at him even now. He said, "Sir, it is not for me to thank you, but it is for you to thank me for giving you the opportunity to share what you have." So, I mean, this is a story which was told by one of the devotees or Swami Vivekananda's disciples. Some may dispute this incident, but this is an incident which has been written in his life story, or in the life of Swami Vivekananda. So, he says here, "Kasyasvid dhanam," to whom does the wealth belong? It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the one who has given it to you. I also read in another article by Swamiji, he has quoted Milton's Milton's Paradise Lost. It's a beautiful book. I have read it long time ago. So there, Adam, he says, O Lord, thou hast created comrades for the animals. Thou hast created, or even the trees, they live together. You have created them such that the trees even live together. See, even sometimes we plant plants here. We are told by horticulturists that, look, you need a companion plant for it. Then only it will grow properly. So, I, a poor fellow, have no comrade. You have left me alone. While you made me, you left me alone. So, God says to Adam, do you or do you not believe I am alone? I have no friends. I have no partner. Since eternity I have been alone. Adam, do you believe I am happy? Or do you not believe that I am happy? Or do you believe that I am unhappy? No. I am happy all the time. I am full of joy. So, God has nothing. Everything belongs to everyone for that matter. In the Bhagavad Gita, we also come across this verse. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam vattayeva cha karmani. See? He says, O Partha, or Arjuna, in the three worlds, there is nothing that I need to accomplish. Yet, I perform my duty. So that is what the Lord says. He does not own anything, yet He is in everything. He is in and through everything. Then, how do I enjoy the wealth if I know that it belongs, if I do not know that it belongs to me? So the Upanishad says here, well, there is a way, there is a path. You can enjoy when you know that everything is yours, yet nothing is yours. It's a matter of understanding. You know that everything is yours, yet nothing is yours. Everything is mine as the Atman, as the self. But nothing is mine as an individual. So he says here, by giving up this identification that this is mine, and then he says, Tena tyaktena bhunjita. Enjoy this world. How? Tyaktena, by renouncing. The renouncing means not having the sense of me and mine. I always see grandparents bring their grandchildren here. And they are mighty happy with the grandchildren. But the parents are not that happy because they have the sense of responsibility. Whereas the parents do not have that sense of responsibility unless they are a fostering grandparents. That's a different thing. But they don't have that sense. So we have a devotee, when their kids were very young, they had a food truck. Somebody had grandchildren are spoiled here. In the entry of the house, grandchildren are spoiled here. So because they do not have that sense of responsibility towards them, they only know that that the children are there for them to enjoy their presence. That's all. So when you know that you do not have any sense of ego, when you do not have any sense of mineness, me and mine, then you become extremely happy. I'll conclude with a story again from the life of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was traveling the length and breadth of India, and he went to, at that time I think he had returned from the west, and he traveled the length and breadth of India. In those days, Lahore, which is now today in Pakistan, is a part of India. And there, in the Christian college, there was a professor of mathematics. His name was Professor Tirtharam, a great soul, an extraordinarily intelligent person, but a very noble person as well. So he was a young man, and Swami Vivekananda went and he gave talks in Lahore. Lots of people used to come to meet Swami Vivekananda, and the Tirtharam was very greatly influenced by Swami Vivekananda's speeches, his talks. So one day he purchased a beautiful pocket watch. In those days, wristwatches were not yet in vogue, it was pocket watch. So he bought a proper golden pocket watch, costing quite a lot, and then he brought it, and then he gave it to Swamiji and said, Swamiji, this is my offerings to you, for offerings to the teacher. Swamiji took it from his hand, and then he put it in the pocket of Tirtharam. It was a pocket watch. He put it in the pocket of Tirtharam and said, I will wear it in this pocket. See, that influenced Tirtharam so much that I think in 1899 or so, he renounced everything and he became a monk. Later he went to America and he preached with the name of Ramatirtha. Ramatirtha, very extraordinary intelligence and a great orator. He was very highly recognized by people. So that is what it is. Ma gradah kasyas viddhanam. To whom does it belong to? It belongs to the Lord. And since you are the Lord, I will use it through you. That is what this verse talks to us, and then gives us this beautiful message that ultimately nothing is ours. Everything belongs to the divine. Ishopanishyam. Cover everything with the presence of the divine. Practicing the presence of the divine in every aspect of our life. So with this we conclude the study of the first verse, and then we will study the second verse, Kurvanne Veha Karmani, next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna.